George, good to have you on, mate.
How are you, mate? It's been
good.
a long time coming.
It
We've been
has.
talking about it for long enough.
Yeah.
Finally here. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
Good to have you on. We started talking about it properly at Miami Music Week, right?
Exactly that, man. Exactly that.
Good week.
How long ago is that now?
That was only 3 months ago?
Yeah,
You
that
have
was
a good
good.
time?
Apart from the rain.
Oh, yeah, we got... Well, it dampened everyone's vibe.
I know. Literally, when we turned up to about 3 or 4 hours before we left, it was raining, and we got one lunch in at Nicky Beach in the sun and came home.
I only had one day of sun there,
Yeah, exactly,
which
Sunday.
is ironic,
Yeah.
being in Miami.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was my first time there as well. So everyone's telling me how amazing it is. I've turned up, I thought, is this what it's all about, is it? I might as well have stayed at home.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was amazing.
It's
What
like-
a week.
Yeah, it was a crazy rain, though, because me and George went out to a restaurant, and it started flooding the restaurant we were in.
Wow.
And all the staff were like, this is just how it is here. And we were like...
Well, it's
Our
funny you
feet were
say
wet
that.
in the restaurant.
During the gig, I had played, and then I think Max had played, and then Joe and Joe, Latman and Iglesias were playing, and me and Max were so hungry, we slipped off to a restaurant, like a breakfast place that had just opened, because it was obviously in the morning, and we slipped off, and we got absolutely drenched. Come back in the party, everyone was like, have you been somewhere? We were like, no, we've just been backstage or whatever. We were so good wet, yeah, I couldn't believe the rain. I hadn't seen rain like that, well, for a long time.
Yeah, it was a lot of rain.
Yeah, it
I
was a
felt
lot of
I felt for the guys doing Factory Town that day.
Yeah, I
that
know,
day.
I
But
know.
People still went.
Oh, of course. People aren't going to miss that, are they? Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going.
Yeah, we went to the hotel. We were like, we're not doing it.
Yeah, no. Too much rain for me.
But cool experience. It was. It wasn't so conferencey and worky. We thought it was going to be a bit more like ADE. I guess we went in a bit blinded.
That is exactly
We didn't
what
have
I
any
thought.
meetings. I
No.
think we had one meeting at the back of Space.
Yeah. That's not a real meeting.
Not really. Yeah.
No. Anything happens in a nightclub's never real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the worse. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was going to be ADE vibes, sort of a little bit more work orientated, people talking about plans and whatever. But if I'm honest, it was just one big party. It was really good to see some people as well, because obviously being this side of the world, and when you're over there in America, you get all the people coming over from Australia and whatnot.
Yeah.
See some people that I hadn't seen in ages just tapping me on the shoulder, like, amazing. That only really happens in Ibiza, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really, really good. Nice break up from the winter to summer. I'll definitely be going. Hopefully I'm playing and being involved every year, but if not, I'll definitely be going back, because it just kickstarts the vibes off for the summer, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does. It was good.
But we haven't got a summer in England this year, so that's
Yeah, they've
the start and the end, and it rained.
They have announced that it's not going to
Yeah,
be
I
a
know.
good summer.
I know,
It's
gutted.
classic. What about ADE? Have you gone to ADE?
Yeah, I've done ADE quite a few times. I'm definitely going to be there this year, 100%. I'm definitely going to make both them dates, and hopefully next year I'm going to try. I haven't actually, considering I've spent so much time in Ibiza over the years, I haven't done IMS. So at the beginning of the summer, so I'm going to try and do that one next year as well. I want to try and get a little bit more involved in the businessy side of the scene and seeing what's
The
going on
background,
there,
yeah.
because, well, it's interesting, isn't it? You should know it if you want to be involved.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's good to meet everyone behind the scenes as much
100%.
much it is a front line. So yeah, where are you today? Like, you know.
Well, at the minute, I am completely focused on new beginnings and new stuff, and just trying to be a little bit more innovative in terms of what I'm trying to achieve. Obviously, if you haven't already heard, or if you're interested, I'm sober now, so that's been probably, I think I'm about 15 and a half months or something. I haven't been counting the days like other people. I've just sort of got on with it, but it's just given me a new lease of, is this really what I want to be doing? And if it is what I want to be doing, I need to really crack on and get on with my vision. Do you know what I mean? Because it can be tainted sometimes by the lifestyle, the party, and whatever else. So now it's a clear head, and try and get on with it a little bit more.
Yeah. So you came out of it during that 15-month period.
Yeah. So when I was partying and whatever else, I was always one of them. I'm pretty sure everyone can sort of relate. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Next summer, this, that, the other. Next summer comes doing the exact same thing. Do you know what I mean? So I just took a step back and sort of reevaluate what's important and what needs to be done to fulfill your goals, because are they even the goals that you actually want? and I've come to make sense of what it is that I want out of what I'm doing. And I started it because of the music. So music is at the minute my main focus, getting what I want people to hear, and also doing more things like this where people know me a little bit more, because I feel like putting a face to the name and a personality to it is so much more important than what people think. I've been the consumer, and I would love to know a little bit more about where someone come from, or how many times you go, oh, I didn't know he was from Italy, or something like that. I think I want to be the person that bridges a little bit of that gap, so you get to know the artist a little bit more. So things like today, hopefully you'll see a lot more of things like this.
I didn't know you're from Italy.
Could you not tell by the accent?
Definitely not. Is that like your mum's side, dad's side?
No, I'm not really. I'm from Essex.
Oh,
Clacton-on-Sea. Born and bred.
I thought you were about to go into the
No, but how many times do you see you talk about an artist and they go, oh, they're from there, and you're like, I didn't know that. I didn't have a clue that.
How was life been on Clacton-on-Sea?
Yeah, humbling.
Was music part of your life from an early age?
Well, at school, our school in the area was two schools, but one of them was like a performing arts sort of school. It was just a name tag, it wasn't really, but I was always into the musicals and doing the acting and whatever else. I played one of the main roles in Buddy Holly and the Crickets once. I was the drummer in the Crickets, but I was in a little band at school. I played the guitar, done loads of singing. So my mum and dad are not musically trained or do anything music wise. My old man's an Elvis nut. That's about as far as that goes, and like madness and bad manners and all that. But yeah, so my introduction to music was really my own journey. I found it on my own, away from the house, away from any outside influence. I went out and found it on my own. So I've got a very strong passion for what I found, you know what I mean? Which happened in London, which was obviously, when I was coming through, was the best place to find, and I was quite lucky. I landed in some of what I feel was really important times for music around that sort of era, around the 2012 sort of thing. I know everyone feels their era was the best, but for me, it was amazing. It was amazing in London at that time. I thought it was just brilliant, and everywhere you went, it was good. You know what I mean? But that was probably the age I was at.
What sort of like places did you go? What was your first?
Well,
you said you were into bands and stuff, so was it like?
Yeah, I mean, I was into the band thing, but that was like at school. I was
in your emo phase.
Yeah, indie phase, long hair.
Because you either like were a chav or you were an emo.
Yeah, I was a bit of both. I bridged the gap.
Yeah, some people were in the middle.
Yeah, I bridged the gap.
Like a Reebok jumper and a studded belt.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I first started going out in the local area, just sneaking in and whatnot. Everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone knew I was underage. All the doormen, whatever. Yeah, well, I didn't even bother. I just sort of just walked up and pretended, and I was so good at it, I got in. But then I started going out to like Colchester, which is just up the road, and they were doing outdoor parties. And then I was at college in Colchester. So when I first got into music, my mum and dad said that you need to sort of get a trade under your belt before you go off and do anything that's like creative sort of thing, because you've got something to fall back on, which has really helped me over the years, if I'm honest. So I started going to college in Colchester, Carpentry College, and there was nights going on. And me being me, young, eager, I just wanted to be involved in any capacity. I just wanted to be involved. So I started selling tickets in Colchester for a party called Metro the Apollo, which were booking proper artists at the time, like Nice 7, Breach, when that Breach Jack tune come out.
Oh, Breach.
He was ahead, the fella. It was a really...
Yeah, Breach was...
Yeah, exactly. And then like Amy and Edge and Dance, that's a whole other thing. I was obsessed with that for a long time. Yeah. But yeah, so I was selling tickets, and I was just out and about, and just somehow, there was no plan to it. I just sort of ended up knowing everyone in the area. I was selling like record amount of tickets for this party. I was selling like 120 tickets on my own for each party, which was just like, the fella was like, what's going on here? And I don't know what it was. I was just out and about and knew everyone. And then it moved on from there, that I was thinking, well, these DJs are coming and they're cool and wow and all them things. I thought, well, I could do that. So I brought a set of decks, and
You brought your set of decks.
I had a shed in the back garden.
Yeah. We've all.
So
the first setup.
so that was it. I had that, and then it all escalated from there. Then we started going to Chelmsford on a Wednesday night. I went out every night of the week. I was obsessed with it. But my mum and dad said, you need the trade. So I went to college. Usually I hadn't been asleep. And someone dropped me off in the back of their boot or something to college the next morning. But I made it, and I done the college thing. And my mum and dad said, wicked, you can go and give it a crack now. So yeah, during that time, they supported everything I was doing. I started playing in Egg. Which
How old are you at this point?
At this point, I was probably... Well, should we rewind a little bit and I'll tell you exactly what happened? Because the story's pretty... I'm sure everyone's got their own story, but it's pretty step by step. It's
sort of a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So this is how it started. Now, there's a bit of a funny thing behind this because we're now talking in the public. I'm trying to look for someone, right? So I went to Egypt when I was 16 on a family holiday. And like you've probably gathered from knowing me a little bit and some of the stories, I was eager just for anything. You wanted to be a table tennis player, I was going to be a table tennis player. You wanted to play basketball, I was LeBron James. Do you know what I mean? I was just into it. Anything. I wanted to be good and do good things and just be about. So went to Egypt when I was 16, and there was a holiday rep there called Ian Brown. Now, I remember his name, I remember everything about him, but I can't find him anywhere on the internet, and I've been trying for years to thank this fella because he was the holiday rep in the hotel, and he took me to a desert rave. My mum and dad said yes because they trusted this fella. Took me to this desert party. It was called the Taj Mahal. It was a scaffold structure with curtains on the inside, black, and no roof. So you could see the stars. And I was going up to this thing, oof, 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 outside. I thought, what is going on here?
Was this your first
thing? Turning up in this taxi with all these people from the hotel that some of them were from Birmingham, some of them from all over. This holiday rep was just a legend. Got us all together, went to this thing. So we turned up outside. We were at the thing going in. I thought, I'm never going to get in here. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to get a taxi back on my own. So anyway, he knew the whatever. He must do it all the time. Anyway, Ian Brown, if you're out there, make yourself known because I want to shake your hand. So he took me into his thing. We went around this black curtain, come round, and it opened up. And I just was like, what? Well, I didn't know it was a thing. You know what I mean? And there was a DJ playing called David Guetta. I remember it on the big screen. Like
not David Guetta.
No, a knockoff. David Guetta. And I looked up, and I remember it literally the minute it happened. I remember the layout of the venue and everything. I was just like, that is what I want to do. And I didn't know up until this point. I was just going to follow my dad's sort of footsteps, and that's what I want to do. So I went back to the hotel the next day after loads of other stories that I could tell you about happened that night, which was one of the best nights ever. I went back to the hotel, said to my mum and dad, I want to be a DJ. They both looked at each other and went, what are you talking about? Like, they didn't want into the rave thing. They were more into the like scooters, and they were had Vespers. They're still mods, exactly. So they were into that sort of stuff. So they didn't really, George, what are you going on about? So anyway, I didn't shut up about it. It was happening.
Yeah.
Went home. Then the college thing, like I just covered, went to college. The tickets started happening. Then I started getting into London, playing on. I don't know if you remember, there was a circuit, and the fella's name was Julian, who used to sort it out. I can't remember his second name. I should have looked up before I come in, but Julian, he used to run this circuit of ticketing. So you could play at Egg one weekend, Ministry of Sound, the McQueen's was on the thing. When Pasha was in London, that was on this like DJ circuit. You had to sell tickets to play, obviously. That's what it was like back then. So what we did is I needed to play. There was no way I weren't playing. So I first one, I rented a minivan. My mum and dad picked all me and my mates up, drove to London, dropped us outside Egg, played in the garden to 2 people. I didn't know really what I was doing, so I turned up with this tiny little DJ thing and put it on top of the mixer. It was carnage. Don't know what.
You a laptop?
Yeah, it was. I don't even know what it was. It was like
virtual DJ.
It was me and my mate, and they slept in round the back of Egg in these 2 minibuses for the night. Come back round the front, picked us up, and drove us home. So that become a little thing for me and my mates. My mum and dad would rent these minivans, come up to London, with all my mates so I could play in the clubs because I needed to sell the tickets. I didn't really know anyone at London at that point. Play in the club. My mum and dad would sleep in the minivan and pick us up once the club had finished, and we'd drive back to Clacton. We've done that I've got numerous memories of that happening. And then we started going all over, Hertford, wherever, and I was just taking people in these minibuses from where I was from. It was brilliant. It was the best days. And then obviously I started getting in to people in London, and then I was coming up and selling tickets and playing the circuit. And that's how it started. And there was never any, like, I couldn't see it being anything other than we were having a great time. And then my dad's family is a bit of a confusing one, where my dad doesn't speak to his family really, but they're all from Clacton. Now, when I was trying to do this DJ thing, my dad come home one day and said, I bumped into someone today that might be of interest to us, sort of thing. I said, oh, who's that? He said, it was my cousin. I said, right. I didn't really think of my dad had cousins because I've never known that to be a thing. So he said, yeah, he's a DJ in Ibiza. I went, what? Like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, he said he'll take you under his wing, sort of thing. I said, what are you talking about? So anyway, this mystical figure that he was talking about, I didn't know anything about, turned out to be Sam Dungate, who I owe a lot to. He was my dad's cousin. He was the DJ at Lineker's in Ibiza. So
Lineker's.
Yeah. So this is where it all sort of started. I don't know if it went
side of the island.
Yeah, or uphill. But so that was that. There was a bit of a story in between, but I won't bother with that. But I went to go and meet him at this snooker club one day, proper English, like snooker club. My dad and we went down to a table like this and sat down at this table, and he said, right, well, this is Sam. You're going to go off to Ibiza and give this a go. If you're really serious, we were going up and down the motorway in these minivans. You're obviously playing here, there, around London. Well, they didn't really get it. They thought they were helping me out going to Ibiza. So brilliant. So I said, all right, cool. So I met this fella, shook his hand. Right, I'm looking forward to it. 3 weeks later, he picked me up in a taxi on a driveway, and I was moving to Ibiza.
No way.
And I thought,
how old are you then?
19. So I'd done my 3 years. Well, I'd done 2 years carpentry thing, and then I'd done a third. So I got a really high carpentry.
So you did that
thing. I'd done that. As soon as that was done, they said, right, go.
Yeah.
Just go. They probably didn't really know much about it, but just said, just go. It's an opportunity. Things like this happen. Go. So I went to Ibiza, and that's when it all sort of, I realised that people were doing this for a job. That's when it was like, oh no, you can see people are actually earning money. I didn't really get that side of it. You know how it is. I was young, running around London playing parties and in the local area, and then I saw people like Carl Cox, and I was like, he's 50 odd years old at the time, and he's obviously earned a career out of this. Then I started to understand that you could be onto something with whatever you want to do, and it opened up my eyes to it all. And one pivotal moment with me is when I landed in Ibiza. It was really early hours of the morning, and Lineker's was just shutting up of the night. And I don't know if you've been to Lineker's, but there's a back entrance and a front entrance. So we got dropped off at the back entrance, piled in there with our bags. Now, obviously, Sam has been working for this company for however many years in all different areas of the world. Piled in there, everyone's buzzing to see him. And I'm a little bit like startled, though. You know what's going on, meeting all these new people. But I was like the little brother to the family now because of my cousin. They all knew I was coming. So they're all like, I was part of it already. And then they welcomed me into this thing, and I remember we went out the front of Lineker's because we was off down to the next place down the famous West End. We come out the front, and they were locking up the back doors. I think Jack was locking up the back doors, and George was walking out on the seafront with me, who was the manager at the time back then. And I said, "Oh boys, I really need to go to the toilet." And he went, "No, don't worry, man. Well, where am I going to go?" And he opened up his arms and just went, "Anywhere." And I was like, wow. I don't know why, but it's always stuck with me. Like, I'm out of the loop now with where I grew up and all these new people. Anything, it sounds weird going for a wee on the street or on the beach was that moment, but it was like, you can do anything. Go and do it. I took that a little bit too literally, and I did go off and do anything, and it all went a bit up the wall for the next few weeks. And but yeah, that was the start of the Ibiza thing, and then I actually realised that people were out there doing this seriously. So I had a load of years there having fun. I lived there for that year as a glass collector in Lineker's. The next year, they let me do a little bit of DJing on the terrace during the day, which was brilliant, and warm up in the bar for a little while. And I was earning pennies, but I was earning a little bit of money at music.
You were doing it though.
Exactly. And I came home, and because I had these older influences, they said, well, the only way you're ever going to get further than what I'm sort of doing in the bars and whatnot is by making music. So I said, right, well, that's sort of what I'm going to do. So I come back to Clacton, where I'm from, got a studio. Again, a family friend, Stevie B, he had a complex that was doing sort of things, and Max Chapman was next door to me in the studio next door. So I had a studio there, built it, and then I'm not sure what had happened, but Max was moving out of his studio, and he ended up being next door to me down there. So I obviously knew Max from the area and his parents and whatnot.
You knew Max from before?
Yeah, so he's older than me. So my parents knew his parents, and we knew each other.
Like grew up together.
Yeah, but he's a bit older than me. So at that age, when he started going out and whatnot, I was still in school. So I knew him through family sort of thing, but we weren't hanging around together. And then we had the studios next door to each other, and then that's when that.
And how did that relationship develop?
So when I was about 17, before I was even allowed in the clubs, I was doing parties in Clacton. Because like I say, I just wanted to be involved. I was up at selling these tickets before I was allowed in the club in Colchester. So I'll just do one down in Clacton. I just didn't, so naive to it all when it started going really well. So, I was doing parties down there and I was selling them out consecutively. So when I then done the studio thing, Max already knew that I was doing the promoting. And then we thought, well, he is now at this point, he was flying. He was playing all over. He was having number ones all the time. He was doing really well. We said, well, why don't we do something in the area? You've been selling the tickets there. You've gone to Ibiza. You've been doing the parties around here. Why don't we do something? So we went to a site visit at a outdoor venue. And on the way, I can't remember what happened, but on the way back from the venue, we popped our head into this little like bar restaurant thing called the Bodicea. And I don't know, I honestly can't tell you. I don't even know if he'll be able to tell you, but we thought, well, why don't we just do it in a restaurant? That'll be different. Again, young, just didn't think. So we done this party in this restaurant and it booted. It was called Swing Sundays, because we weren't allowed the restaurant on Saturday night because they had full bookings. So Sunday afternoon, they give us this restaurant where we just took everything out of it, had a little mezzanine thing. And we done some parties there. We was booking heavy as well. We was booking like Day to Swing. We had Detlef in there. We were booking heavy straight away, and it done really well. And that was the first thing where I was like, we're now making noise outside of our area a little bit. Max was already doing what he was doing, and people were coming down and interviewing us at the parties, and people were interested from outside of the area, not just our mates were coming to our parties. And now, again, it was more realisation that this can go further than where it's at. And then we done the parties. We started going outdoors. We booked Camel Fat, which was like just after Cola. We was like,
that's crazy.
Again, I was like, I'm meeting these people. I didn't really get that it was a big thing. And then there's adults that are doing music, and I'm like,
where were you in this? Were you DJing there too?
Oh, I owned it, and I was DJing there, but under Georgie Marshall, which was my thing before.
Your old name.
Yeah, which was my thing before. And then I was sitting in with Max and looking at the production and whatever, and we done some records together, and they started doing well, and it all just sort of naturally progressed, the whole thing, the party and whatnot. And then we got the call up to do one at Fabric Room 1. And then I was like, wow, we're now out of area. We're in the Pinnacle. We're at Fabric Room 1. We're doing the main room. We got David Scalacci, Left Wing and Cody, George Meadows, Max Chapman and me. Fabric Room 1. Well, the boys, Left Wing and Cody, Chris and John are our mates. George was really close mate, still is a really close mate. And then we've got someone like David Scalacci coming. It was like, this is just, it's happened so quick. So we done that, which was absolutely amazing. And then no one really made any plans to stop doing it, but it was one of those, if I wanted to break out of being the promoter with Max and doing this party, people, when I was seeing them, was like, oh, the party looks like it's doing really well. It was never the music from my personal thing or whatever. So it was never a conversation of us stopping doing it. It wasn't like that. It just sort of, Max was doing what he was doing. I then decided that to further myself in the DJ thing, I needed to be a bit more of an artist. So I took a step back and started doing the artist thing. Yeah, and it's progressed from there really. And then yeah, partying, going with it, side in side, and getting involved in having a really good time rather than focusing directly on what you should be doing in the scene.
But that party would have had its life cycle.
Exactly.
Because it's not on anymore.
No. We didn't actually go that long with it, to be fair, but we really hit the ground running, and we did something a little bit different where it's Sundays, swing Sundays. So we weren't really competing with anyone, you know what I mean? And we had artists that weren't playing because it was a Sunday. So we had the thing of we could book sort of whoever we wanted was in the country. So we started doing it like that, and it just worked in our favour. It was organic. It was fun. It was brilliant.
How it should be.
It was brilliant, exactly. And then at that point, I didn't realise that there was livings to be made. And then quite shortly after that, then the politics side started coming into play, and then you realise that it's actually quite difficult. But yeah, the main nucleus of it all was just the fun side of it, and the music side of it. That feeling of I don't really get what's going on here. That's what I really loved, and the parties naturally forming and seeing other people naturally form parties in other places in the country. At that time, I felt it might be just because I was around at that time, but I felt like lots of people were doing things like Abode. Abode just come up, and all of a sudden it was like the biggest thing in the country. That time of that happening, I thought was brilliant, and everyone involved, I'm sure, will say that was a really good time to be around and in London, and involved in the party.
Yeah, Bo did really well.
And things change, and things go in different directions, and it's good. It's all good. It's all good.
But coming back round to you, so you were Georgie Marshall.
Yeah.
And then when did you? And then were you still making music during this time?
Yeah, I did a couple of tunes as Georgie Marshall, but that was the thing. I signed a management deal with a company, and that's another point where I was like, we're getting a bit more serious with this. They was like, right, well, we want to work with something that we can brand. We want to work with something that we can tell people what it's about and deliver what that's about, not have any backlog or whatever. We can mould this thing. I said, okay, so we're coming up with different names and whatever. Now, the little symbol in the Kodewerk logo is right from the beginning. My first ever party called Flux, FLUX, and the U was that triangle, and that was just a fluky sort of thing that we made right at the beginning, me and my mate, and it's stuck. It's still there now. It's in Kodewerk, and it's just gone through. And we just created a name and said, right, well, that's what we're doing now. It wasn't loads and loads of thought behind it. We just come up with something, done the old usual, search it on the internet, see what comes up, changed the C for a K and an O for an E, and just went, right, that's it, boom, done, get on with that. So we done that, started releasing some music, and then me and Max had a number one on a remix of a Jolison remix, Eagerly it was called. And from then, it's sort of the Kodewerk thing stuck a little bit more. It's going into the parties, and people were treating me a little bit more different and whatever.
How did that feel? Because you've already had like that, a little bit of a taste of that through the partying.
Yeah. It was a little bit like I say, with the party bit there. I didn't plan any of the changes or stopping or anything. I just sort of like naturally went, and I thought I'd better do the artist thing. And now people come up to me, oh, wicked tune rather than wicked party.
Which one did you like more of?
Probably the music side.
Okay.
Probably the music side, because it's making a piece of music is something that's come out of you, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? A party is 500, 600, 700, 1,000 people all coming together and something happening. There's so many parts to it, isn't it? With the music side, it's from your camp, innit? It's you guys, it's what you're about. So yeah, I definitely enjoy the music side of it more, which has led me on to what I do now, and in the background now behind what I'm doing, studio wise, do you know what I mean? I've completely taken myself away from the party side of things and created myself as a bit more of a music studio man, you know what I mean, in the background, which has really helped with my knowledge behind what we're doing. I feel like we've lost ourselves here a little bit.
No, we're good. Yeah. I'll come back round.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So with our with the studio side of things, I actually started a new company this year called Collective Studios. So now what I'm doing is loads of tuition and things like that myself, which is away from the party, which has really helped.
That's what you've been doing the last 15 months, right?
Yeah. So that's the whole.
And you said before, not many people knew that you were doing that.
No, not many people know.
So
now.
when you took yourself out of the limelight,
yeah,
15 months ago.
Well, I moved to Dubai, which is there's so many.
We skipped forward a bit. We're going back.
Yeah, we maybe should have started at the beginning.
We got to you launched Kodewerk.
Yeah, we should have gone down the line.
And then there's like this bit in the middle that.
But there's loads of bits, and I don't remember all of it. It was just all one big thing that
happened.
It's life. It's and one thing with the musical journey or whatever you want to call it is it has been my life. There is no question. I've not dipped in. I've lived for the outcome of the music. Everything I've done and decision I've made has all been towards a goal. I'm not really sure what the goal has been, but it's all to do with music. So yeah, I moved to Dubai thinking that maybe that was going to be a good move
for music
for myself, really.
Okay.
And a new avenue. I don't know. I just felt like that was the right thing to do at that time. So I went over there. Quite quickly realised that it probably wasn't right for music because it hadn't quite developed in that way there yet. And then I became sober over there, came back, and then whilst I was there, because the gigs were not really what fulfilled what I wanted to do, I created music tuition whilst I was there. So I was going to...
In Dubai?
Yeah, this was just a way of earning money to be there. I was going to numerous people's houses and teaching them tuition, and then I was flying from Dubai to gigs. So when I was going to the gigs, I was just letting people know that I was doing people online. So when I came back from Dubai, I thought to myself, there might be something in this.
Sustainable, right?
Yeah, I'm going to carry on with this. So I created a company called Collective Studios, and I do clients all week now. So I just do tuition, either online or in the studio. It's controllable. It's brilliant. I love seeing people succeed, but it's completely music. Some of the sessions are not even much learning. It's talking about it. It's a friendship. It's brilliant. I absolutely love where I'm at with what I'm doing with people now. Seeing the success of people is so fulfilling. Seeing people come on in their person, just because people might have this passion for this music, but their friends don't like it or whatever. I've got a couple of people like that. I'm their only outlet for this thing. So seeing them come out of their shell and try new things and make new friends and whatever, it's brilliant. And the learning side of it teaches me so much as well.
Yeah, reinforces what you've learned.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And you learn new things, and as well, it makes you want to learn, because no one knows everything. I'm far from know everything in music. Do you know what I mean? You learn stuff to teach, whereas if you were doing it yourself, you might not do that. I mean, I don't know, because that's the situation I'm in at the minute. But I'm research and learn everything. So I'm still obsessed with the music side, but it's completely different, isn't it? It's me at a studio laying information that I've learned or whatever to these people, not in a nightclub. So it's a completely different side of the music scene, which is, at the minute, I really enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think sharing your music expertise is an important part of like a producer's life cycle, because at some point they have to kind of share on what they want to do. And also a lot of DJs and producers are doing like one-to-ones and
massively
all of that type of work or tutorials.
It's a big part of the industry now. I mean,
yeah, it's how they build that sustainability factor, especially when they're like not working, you know, and you're not touring all the time because for whatever reason you have a baby or life changes or you're just not feeling it as much. That's like your go-to.
I mean, I have my ear on the ground with loads of people. I'm in contact with people every day to do with music. That's what we do. Yeah. And loads of people are doing it. And one of I speak to these people and I say, how do you find laying this information? Some people struggle with it. Some people find it really easy. But one thing that everyone says is I absolutely love it. It's brilliant, and it's a COVID thing, isn't it? It come out of COVID.
Yeah, definitely.
It come out of
Ignited
COVID,
there.
And it did. I mean, when in Glaziers, Joe was doing
It made it cool
Woodland
for the bigger
Studio
guys
thing.
to
Yeah.
try it out.
Exactly. I mean, Joe done the Woodland Studios thing and pulled Salado on, and when someone like that come on board, I mean, we were like, well, everyone signed up, and you were paid to come in on this thing, and it started this new wave of learning how to make music. Because back when I first started, I mean, I didn't know anything, but there weren't loads of music producers. Now there's loads of music producers because it's accessible, isn't it? You can go to someone like myself. You can go to XYZ. I mean, look at YouTube. It's free. You know what I mean? You can sign up to Simfo. Amazing what them guys
Great
have
resource,
done. You know what I mean? And it's brilliant. And there's so many different channels of music now. I'm all for that. I think that's wicked. Anyone reigniting any fire or starting a new fire, I think it's brilliant. There's enough room. There's enough room for everyone, because no one's the same.
But going right back to that David Ghetto moment, like in Egypt, you wanted to be on the stage. Is that like desire still in you?
Massively. So
like to be like out there.
So
touring on the stage.
Not unfortunately, but maybe a little bit at the start. We've skipped, like we said, we should have done in steps. But my thing with taking a step back a little while ago and not releasing music and all that was not a choice of not being on the stage or being involved. It wasn't like that. It was just something where I just didn't do it anymore for a little while. I weren't going to make music. I weren't really asking anyone to sign anything. And I was just a little bit, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. There was no, in all these things I've done up until now, I've never really made a certain decision on anything. And that's been one of the things now that I'm really happy about myself, is that I can say that that's what I'm going to do, and I'll go and do it. So not being on the stage was not a decision. It just sort of happened. But now being back there is exactly what I'm about. I've got loads, which obviously me and you are going to share. I've got loads of plans coming up. I've been working really hard in the background in the studio to create this company, which is a private thing at the moment. That's how I want it to be at the moment. But I'm definitely in a place now where I want to get back to being on stage and letting people know what I've been doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like taking it a year and a half out, how do you think it's changed in that time? You know, like like if you were to reintroduce yourself, I mean, how's it going to come? Like, what do you think the scene needs right now, so to speak?
Well, I never really done that sort of I'm not involved thing. I just drifted away without me knowing or anyone else knowing. And now it's been really good for me to do that, because I've been able to look at what
perspective.
What I think it should be about. I'm not saying it's about something that I don't like, but my whole thing now going forwards is goodness. If you put good out, you get good back. Put good music out, you should get good back. And that's exactly what I feel in life is what it's about. You put good out, you get good back. So now going forwards, loads more music, loads more projects for people to be involved with, not just for myself. We've started this company, like I said, Collective Studios, but Collective was a party before, and the whole ethos behind that was a collective of my people that want to be in that group of good energy and people that are like-minded. And that come around in a time where I might not have been really, really good to myself because I was partying and whatever else. But now, moving forward, it's all about having a vision and sticking to it is a really accountable thing. And I took that for advantage before. I didn't really understand that doing things could equate to this and not doing things could equate to that. Now I'm responsible.
You'll still have like things happen.
I lived in the moment.
If it's not intentional or not directed,
no.
Get lost in it.
Yeah, now there's a game plan which
do you think that's from going sober that you're able to reflect on that and be a bit clearer?
I would say
on the steps.
Yeah, I would say I don't like what we're saying here. I hadn't thought about a lot of stuff before. It was just sort of, well, yeah, that's what we're doing. We'll just do it. And then that's what we're doing there. I'll go and do that or whatever. Now I've had time to go, well, if you say you're going to do that, evaluate it, and if it's worth your time and energy, I value that time now a lot more, that I can give it to that, or I can give it to here, and what the outcome could be of it. I wasted a lot of time on stuff that maybe I shouldn't have even been involved with, you know what I mean, just because you thought it was the cool or dumb thing to do at the minute. So now redoing a few things and creating what I think's cool, do you know what I mean, rather than looking at things and saying, oh, I think it's cool, it must be cool. I want to create what I think's cool, do you know what I mean? What I think's cool is having fun, being humble with it and having a laugh, and loads of people coming together that are in the same headspace. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is what it should be about.
Yeah,
that's the intention, right?
It is. Yeah, and yeah, if that works, brilliant. If it doesn't work, brilliant. I'm really, really happy with whichever way it goes. I love what I'm doing at the minute, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love what I'm going to do in the next little while, because I'm going to make a decision on it. I'm not just going to float.
Yeah, and you raised an important point there about outcome, being attached to the outcome. Because I think in this space, everyone gets very attached to the outcome. Like, I'll get signed to this label and then this will happen, or I'll play at this party and then it will happen, or this DJ will play my track and then this thing will happen. It doesn't always work like that.
That's not the case.
Those things can help give you like a boost.
Well, I've learned these things, as everyone knows. It's not just this industry, but life's full of fake promises. And you think that this is going to be the next big thing, and you might count your chickens too early and they don't hatch. But if your outcome is to have fun, and have fun whilst doing whatever it is that you're trying to get to, hopefully the outcome doesn't matter as much. It isn't the be all or end all, and it'll probably come easier that way. I mean, with the studio thing, I haven't meant to set that up at all. Didn't even mean for that to happen, and it did. And now I've got full grips on it. It's going really, really well. I couldn't be more happy with how that side of things are going. So with other stuff, like some of the plans I've got in place now, me and you, hopefully we've been talking, we've been coming up with a little plan. This is the start of hopefully something moving forwards together, which will be all revealed in the next little while. But having someone like yourself involved in the collective, do you know what I mean? That's what it's about. Bringing people in that have got a vision and want to make it happen, and have the tools to be able to make it happen, not just professionally but personally. Have the tools to be able to say, yeah, that's wicked, mate. I believe in that. Let's put some time and energy into it, rather than it going on deaf ears, which it happens not just in music, it happens everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, unintentional things.
Yeah, definitely.
For whatever reason.
Definitely.
Funny thing about like the word collective, when I was at uni, we had a group called the Collective.
Oh, no way.
We'd all go parties together.
Well, there you go.
And there was a Facebook page where we'd all put the photos in of like, you know, debauchery.
Well, that's what it's about. I've been so lucky that
this kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. Well, like I said about,
but we had a lot of
planning.
Fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what it's about. This is the thing with planning. From that Egypt thing or whatever, I've never really. This isn't about music. This is about like I never knew there was a plan in place. And collective, if you look at it, some people, I don't know, might look at it as that's branded, and that's we've branded it as a collective, and it's like a well thought about thing. Some people look at the Kodewerk thing and think that's well thought about, the K and what. It was all just, it happened. And then I've looked back here and I'm like, the journey of getting to that name collective wasn't like I thought about it too much. It just sort of happened. And now when sitting here how I am now and sober and whatever, the collective means so much to me, because it's not meant to mean that, and it has now meant something completely different, which hopefully the public will see with all the work that I've been doing in the background, that the collective is a thing, man. It don't mean anything, but it's a thing. And I've got it in my little camp with my lot, and obviously bringing people involved in it. Yeah, it's just about being a part of something that's fun. I think that should be it. Yeah. And if it goes really well, then it goes really well. Yeah. Brilliant.
There's a common streak I have experienced with different people I've had on here and just people I've talked to, professional DJs, professional producers, and the ones that focus on the fun are usually the ones, one, having the best time, not too like wound up by it, so they're really present in the experience as and when it unfolds. Yeah, it could be you play this small gig, you might not get your track signed, but they're still having fun, and that seems to be a common thread, is like when they focus on that part, and again, not the outcome. Because I think it's really hard in this scene when you see everyone on socials doing things, playing in front of all these people, getting signed, kind of quote unquote moving forward, even though that there is no linearity to this. Like,
no.
Everyone's just on a unique thing. You start spinning your wheels and you start creating all that resistance internally.
Shall I tell you what that is? When you see someone having fun and they don't know what they're creating, that's energy. That is what that is. That is what that is. It don't matter if you're seeing it through a screen or if you're seeing it in the DJ booth. That's energy. If they're having a good time, you want to be involved in it. Simple as. And some people don't know that a good thing's happening when a good thing's happening, and that's brilliant. That's social media or not social media. That's analog. That's organic. Do you know what I mean? Someone's having a brilliant time and they're having fun with it, and then people want to be a part of that. That's brilliant. I mean, look at the Another Boys, No Art.
Yeah.
When that come up, right?
Yeah.
What's going on here? There's a bunch of lads jumping up and down in a DJ booth, having an amazing time, and everyone wants to be a part of it. That is the most organic vibe I've seen come out of this new world, or whatever you want to call it. It's brilliant because they're all having fun and they're all a part of it, and they have, well, like a collective, the whole lot of them. It's the same people all having a brilliant time, and the energy comes. They do
the vibe attracts.
Yeah, the vibe attracts, and they're so good with what they've done with having the venues people haven't done before and whatever, just creating something new, fun, brilliant. There's no, like you say, there is no, what was it, linearity?
Yeah, linearity.
Yeah,
there's people doing that over there. There's people doing that over there.
So there's thing.
There's no like corporate structure.
Exactly.
Right?
And we were talking before we came in here about when I first started going out, 2012, that sort of thing. That's now being edited. Tunes are being made of edits back then. So we've done a circle of when our thing started, it's come back. We've done a full cycle. So you've seen in that cycle, so many people have come out of it that you maybe didn't think were going to blow, and then people did blow.
And they disappeared.
Exactly, that disappeared. But the ones that have got a vibe to them, there was no structure to it. It just sort of happened. And I think
a good example for that would be Scream.
Exactly.
Because when I started, 14, going to drop records in Bath, picking up dubstep records and like picking up a first Scream and Benga thing and going back and mixing like vinyl. Scream was like Scream Benga.
Yeah.
Scream Benga, Casper, Rusko, that was like the thing.
Yeah.
And then he just kept evolving with it. So he went and he stayed in the house and he did like the techno house thing. Now he's like, he just kept evolving with it, but still remaining Scream.
Yeah. Well,
if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
He's still like got that identity through his thing.
Exactly.
He's been there from the beginning. And it's still as relevant today.
Pioneer who created a music genre, basically. Do you know what I mean?
But it would have a lot of those dubstep guys, and the deep house guys and all that. They didn't really come through.
No, exactly.
He's still here today playing gigs.
And if you got him in here now and asked him if there was a structure to it, I bet you he would have gone, I don't even know how I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't think so.
He just done, do you know what I said earlier about what you think's cool? If he said, that sounds wicked, he done it. And he went and done it, and then just worried about it afterwards, and it's always worked out. Now, that's working on impulse, that's working on what you think is good. If you think it's good, you just go and do it. Now, that's the only downside for me out of this new sort of social world is there it seems to be a fake sort of script that you should follow on social media. And people have followed it and it works, and you've done this to get to there and that to get to there, and you've done this bit and blah, 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 and blah. But people like Scream and people that stand out like that didn't follow that. They just went and smashed the door off and done what they wanted, and they'll live on. Do you know what I mean? We were saying that before we came in here, that the people that you remember are always different. always different, always done something a little bit more different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he was born with it. Scream, mate. He's an entertainer. You just stand in a room with him, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
It's brilliant.
It's true. He's actually, him and Benga are doing a boiler room in August in London.
Yeah. I've seen that they've actually been playing together a little bit again.
Incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
That's like childhood stuff.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. I went to uni with Benga's brother.
Oh, okay.
And he was studying to become a doctor. And they decided to have a house party. This was like back in uni days. And they were still like, that's still when dubstep was kind of big, but it was when it was like the Disclosure time, Deep House, Eaton Messy. And we were having this house party, and usually there would be like, we'd rent some speakers and some DJs would play. And everyone was like, oh, is your brother going to come play, like Benga? And then it just kind of got around that like Benga was playing at this house party. And next thing you know, like 2,000 people like showed up at this house.
No way.
The police came down, and obviously Benga was not coming.
Yeah.
And then everyone kicked off because Benga wasn't coming. He was never coming.
Yeah.
So we had all these people in this house. The guys who were renting the house was like, this is just off the rails. Like it was incredibly funny.
And nights like that where it wasn't meant to happen, brilliant, and you remember it.
Yeah, out of all the houses,
no
you remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant. No, well, as you can imagine, the stories. Everyone's got stories. I've got some crazy stories of things that shouldn't have happened that did happen. Absolutely brilliant, and no regrets with it.
Yeah,
no regrets with it.
Yeah, because I remember like when we were at Miami, you everyone was getting quite loose, but you were pretty collected.
I've just done some waves.
Do you find that challenging going out in the scene as a sober person?
No,
it's easy.
Because when I put my key in the front door of the studio on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning, and I've got myself down there on a Monday, and I'm now sat in the studio chair, I feel 100 times better than anyone else at that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like I said before, with the way that I've laid it out, I've made some decisions now of how I'm going to live. And I've laid out my studio work, and I know I can tell you where I'm going to be next Thursday. I think that's brilliant. I've never been like that before. Couldn't even tell you where I am tomorrow, usually. So it's brilliant. So when I'm out and I'm having that really good time, I still have a brilliant time. I've just been to Sunwaves for a week or 6 days or however long I was there.
Yeah, so
with everyone.
Just drinking coffees.
Yeah, I think I had a couple of coffees a day. There was this poke bowl place there, it was absolutely unbelievable. So I've just been to Sunwaves for a week and had probably, well, it's definitely the best musical experience I've ever had anywhere in the world, for sure. If you haven't been, you need to go. But I would say it's one of the best trips I've had as well. The people around me, it was just brilliant.
Because some people think if they go sober, they have to separate themselves.
No way. I mean, whatever works for you. I'm not, like I said to you before, I do not ever want to come across or be a preachy sober person. I'm not that person. I've done it for me. If you want to do it for you, that's brilliant. I'll hold your hand and I'm on the end of the phone for you. But if you don't do it, that's also brilliant. It's your story, man. It's your story, and this is my story. And I'm never going to shove that down your throat. Like I say, I'll be there for anyone. And one thing I will say that is talking about a sober thing or whatever is, once you're into it, it's not that scary. It's the thought, and that's the same with everything. We've spoke about projects or whatever. It's the thought of doing it is always there. Doing it is the hard bit, and then once you've done it, you look back and you go, oh, why was I worried? You know what I mean? I have just as good time now than what I did, if not better than I did before, because I get double. I get to go to the thing on the weekend, and I get to go to the studio and carry on my life the next day. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, I got that bit and none of that. And I just went to the club, and I didn't go to the studio till Thursday, Wednesday, whatever. Cycle. Loads of people are in the cycle. I've been in the cycle. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's progression. And hopefully one day you won't. But yeah, I still have a wicked time, mate. I don't struggle with that bit. And anyone that comes across me will tell you the same. I don't struggle with that. Should have seen me in that here out on it the other weekend. I went to my friend's party for Frankie Rizzardo. I was having it. I was in the crowd. I was absolutely having it. I love it. And that's the thing. Like that moment when I walked in that room in Egypt.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it on. I love it. it's who I am. I'm a music man. I love it. And in whatever capacity it comes in, at the moment, I'm sober and I'm loving it. And I wasn't loving it when I wasn't sober. So what did I do? I stop partying, and I love it again. So it's the music is the outcome every time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with this journey thing. I don't know what that. I've never known any of that outcome. But when you look back and reflect on it all, maybe there is a bit of a plan emerging, and this is just the next bit. And I love where I'm at. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
to be able to sit here. Yeah, to be able to sit here and talk to you
on a
Monday about music again. You know what I mean? It's still the same. Still the same. You just go through weird little passages along the way, and some good people come along that stay forever. Some people come along that are there for 10 minutes. Some bad people come along. We're all navigating, man. We're all navigating.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all navigating.
Now, it's important to share, because I think some people think that if they go sober, they have to like remove themselves from it, and you don't.
No, it's a very, is the word humbling experience, because there's lots of people around you that maybe shouldn't be there. No, I'm not saying they're going to do something really bad to you. I'm just saying that if you're looking to be around people that genuinely care about your party environments, maybe not where people care about you as much. I'm not saying everyone's out to get you, but your phone stops ringing. I was actually speaking to someone the other day who's been sober for about 3.5 years, and we was just having a little, I hadn't seen him in ages, having a little chat. What's the main thing, he said to me? I said, my phone don't ring. He said, and that's funny. He said, that's the same for me. And I said, your circle gets smaller, but it gets a hell of a lot stronger in that time, because you don't have the outlets, do you? Just because you're not out, you're not involved. Do you know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing. It's also, it doesn't matter. It's fine. But your circle gets a lot smaller, but it gets stronger. You know what I mean? And then you really care about who's in that collective.
Yeah, nice, kind of circling back round.
Honestly, mate, it happens to me all the time. It feels right. Feels right.
It should feel right.
Shout it from the rooftops if something feels right, mate.
It should feel right. So what is the collective going to be then?
So, well, this is why we're here, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Collective means like I've been going over, it is a collective of like-minded people that are into what I feel is really cool. And the next coming months are going to be really exciting. I'm just about to launch it as a label. So as of when this video comes out, we'll be doing a cool post that the inbox is going to be with Trackstack. We've got a few other things in the pipeline that we're going to be working on together, which is really exciting. So as of the video coming out, Collective is going to be actively listening to music. I'll personally be listening to it myself. I'll obviously try and get back to everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing where that avenue goes. I haven't been involved or owned a record label before, so it's a new thing. I'm really looking forward to it, honestly, because I've finally, not that anyone I've worked with before there's been any problems, I've finally got, I'm the one, do you know what I mean? I'm the one that's going to say yes, I'm going to be the one that says no. There's
to the record.
I haven't been, every party I've done has been with someone or with that, which has been brilliant. It's been amazing. I've learned loads, and obviously I've done things with Max numerous times, but you get a phone call, you then ring the next person and ask. This is going to be my imprint, and what I think's cool, and it's going to be a little bit deeper than the music. We're going to try and build a little community of what I think's right. Do you know what I mean? And relevant. See where it goes. And who knows? We might be sat here in another 10 years and gone, cool, you remember that time when we said we should give that a crack? And then it's just a journey. No one's right, no one's wrong, unless you've done something wrong.
Yeah. You got to try and keep it on the rails.
Yeah, no, you've got to. But going back to the sober thing is, if you are not sober, that also doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be. It doesn't matter that you're going to be in that thing forever. I never knew that I was going to be sitting here like sober before I was 30 years old. If you'd asked me 2-3 years ago, I go, what are you talking about, mate? This is what I do. This is me. I'm having it off, and I was. And now I'm sitting here going, I'm sitting here and I'm having a great time doing this. It's just yeah. Whatever you think's right for you at the time, just do it because it's your own journey. Don't stress too much. People feel like people see other things, see what people are doing, either whether it be good or bad, and just stress about their own situation. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it as much, because 9 times out of 10, it all comes good. And if it doesn't, it'll teach you something. It will teach you something along the way, which is also very important.
Yeah. It'd be in that reflective phase.
Yeah, exactly. So going forward with the collective thing, all the things that...
So you're going to be putting out your music and then music of others?
Yeah, definitely. So at the start, I think, obviously I'm going to launch it. It's going to be an EP from me. I haven't decided if I'm going to invite some friends on some remixes or whatever it is. I'm not too sure on that. If something arises and I think it's good, and I'm going to go with it. If it doesn't, then I'll do it myself. But the inbox is going to be open. I'm going to be listening. I really can't wait to see what happens in the next year, 5 years, whatever. Who knows? It might flop. But who knows? Let's just
depends what you define as flop, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I think the best labels, they kind of marry it up with a vibe and a party.
Yeah.
If you look at the best labels now, the ones that people want to be on is because this is not what you're gonna do, but what I've seen is they have a label and they have the party, and it's kind of like two for one.
This is exactly,
you join this tribe and you're a part of this thing.
This is exactly what it's about.
Or you look at Solid Grooves, you look at Paradise. It's kind of like you join the label, you kind of be a part of the family.
This is the time scale of where we're at. We're now, well, we should be in summer. It's not summer out there, but we should be in the summer. We're gonna launch the label. We're gonna look at signing some music this summer that's hopefully going to stand us in good stead for the club season. We might do some things at the end of the summer. If they come to light, then brilliant. Obviously, I won't say now. And then after that, we'll be in good stead for next year. It's all the time frame. There is a loose plan behind it, and hopefully, if all comes together, we'll have a nice collective of assets. We'll have Kodewerk, hopefully back touring and releasing music to the capacity that I feel is right. Collective will be running as a record label with loads of great music from new signings. We'll have the party on the go, and then who knows after that. We'll see where it goes, but I'm fully invested in it. So it's go time.
Yeah, let's launch this thing. Yeah, well, it's going to be great to kind of work something differently with the label, how we can get involved and help it.
Exactly.
grow.
So this is something that we're both of us hopefully are excited about. That we're gonna team up and give a little bit of a different spin on things. I mean, we're not going to share any of the ideas, but some of the things that we could potentially be doing. Hopefully, just going to change a little bit of a vibe. I know we're talking about everywhere, but in London, as we know, we're here. Just creating a little bit of a ripple, a little bit of something a little bit
it's needed.
different.
It's needed. It is needed. It's getting a bit stale. It's getting a bit stale.
Yeah, without what everyone does, if that's what they think's right, and that's brilliant. I'm not saying that you are right or wrong, but
that's what London's for, right?
Yeah,
London is a place where you can try new things, like new company ideas. It's not just like music here.
Look at you guys. And
new companies.
Success that you guys have created with Trackstack. I mean, brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Created a ripple, and now look at where you guys are at with it. And I wanted to say personally from me, congratulations to you both, because honestly, mate, it's brilliant and it was needed, and that's it. You created something that no one knew they needed. That's the way. That's the way. So we're gonna give it a go together. And I really mean that. I really mean that. So together, hopefully, we can create a little bit of something that people didn't know they needed.
Yeah, with all those elements we were talking about today, right?
Exactly. It's just feeling good.
Like, if you want to be there and you want to try having your first like sober night, it's a welcome place and things like that. Brilliant. You know what I mean? Like,
come and talk to me personally. I'm not going to offer services from anyone else.
Yeah.
Come and talk to me personally about anything. Don't have to be music. My inbox is open. I speak to lots of people in my inbox of questions that are completely far out of anything I would expect to be answering. I have them quite often. I do, and I'm always open, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, and that is really rewarding to give someone. When I say advice, I'm not saying I'm some sort of
Yeah, I was going to say this kind of
person, but
circles back round nicely. Some like quick fire questions I've got, which is one is what advice would you give to a young up and coming producer or DJ, which I think is quite timely. You've got someone who's come up to you and he said, "What would you tell me?"
Stay in the studio, get a big padlock, put it on the door, and make beats. Just hone in on your skills, because the way that I feel at the moment is going is, when I was trying to get to know people, everything was face to face, more face to face than what it is now. Now you can use services like Trackstack and things like that. Now you sending 20 tunes to me, I know you can only do 5, but if you're sending numerous tunes to me that are really, really good, I'm gonna reach out to you. Do you know what I mean? That's how
Our relationships are formed.
That's how I am forming with lots all the time. At least 3 or 4 new people every week, from them sending me numerous amounts of tunes, not one special one. They're sending me like 10 tunes that are all the best tune in the pack. They're all really, do you know what I mean? That's come from hard work. There's no way around
grafting,
That's come from hard work. Now, this might not be the case, but I see that hard work as they're not going out and they're not wasting time. They're really on it. Now, if you're really on it like that, you're going to be a part of what I'm doing. That's what I would say. A lot of the people at the top, I can't speak for anyone, but a lot of people at the top will register that and see that they're really, really giving it a go. Now, being in a DJ booth and meeting people and all that is obviously something that comes with it, but really honing in on your skills would be my biggest part of advice, because everyone's at it. There's so many producers out there. To shine, you've got to be really good. You've got to be really good.
Yeah, this idea of shine and breaking through, though, is kind of important topic, because everyone's like, "Oh, how do I find my sound?" Or "How do I break through?" Or "How do I get here? Get over here?" There's a bit of truth to it, which is there is no like shortcut. There's no like trick.
I'm still not.
Yeah, it's kind of like the people who I've really listened to and the commonalities I've heard is they're in the studio having fun, and they try not to go in with a lot of resistance. Like, I'm making this track to get signed to this label. I think if you go into studio like that, it's almost like set up to give yourself like
we was just talking, wasn't we?
That outcome attachment.
Yeah, I just showed you a track earlier on today. I got approached by a label. I think it was like the end of last week. Would you like to do a remix for this artist, blah blah blah, going on this label? Yeah, wicked. Didn't think about it. Cool. There's a deadline for next Friday, so I'm now sort of going into it. I've got to get it done, blah blah blah. I went down there with no thoughts of doing it on this day, and I wrote the whole groove and got the whole thing down in, like I told you, an hour and 15 minutes on the Friday.
No resistance.
No resistance. I've gone down there not knowing that's even what I was going to do, and it's come out, and that's why music and little moments in your life happen just on the off cuff. And yeah, like I say, within there on the Saturday, I sent it off. It's been accepted. Everyone absolutely loved it, and I would say it's one of the coolest grooves I've wrote. No resistance, no thought process. Just went down there, opened up their project, and thought, well, should we have a little look at this? And then all of a sudden, bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's why you should be open to new ventures. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because you might open up this venture that we're gonna, and then in a year's time you look back and you go, wow, we didn't really plan for that to happen, but oh my god.
Yeah.
Happy accidents, man.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with being in the studio all the time, is people say about their moments. How do you get their moments to develop, them special moments where you write like the next track or whatever? How do you get them to happen? Happy accidents and things like that, I don't necessarily believe in luck and whatever in the studio. I honestly still think it's work rate, and the way you gear yourself up to go into something. the other day. I didn't gear myself up and I went into it, but that wasn't an accident. That's because I've geared myself up for X, Y, Z amounts of times before, and then this way it went another way. Everything is all categorized in some sort of weird journey that these things aren't just luck on that day. You've built that luck before. No one's ever sat down at a computer and made a tune who's never sat down and made a tune before, have they? It's all the tunes you made, and then once in a while you go, oh my, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
When
I ask people about the tune that maybe, is their breakthrough tune, it's the one they made in an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
On their laptop.
Have you watched
with headphones on?
Oasis? Have you watched that Oasis documentary?
No.
The lads were all in there. It weren't happening. I think they went out and bought a Chinese. By the time they come back, I think Noel had wrote Supernova. About 20 minutes. Something stupid. Do you know what I mean? You can't write it, mate. It's just, but he didn't do that first time around.
No,
Thousands
He's got the mastery there to be able to work fast.
Exactly, yeah. and then it happens. So
what you're saying is you need to put in the hours to have the basic blocks, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna always make a hit.
No, it doesn't. And don't get disheartened by that. I haven't made one yet. Do you know what I mean? Not the big standout one, but it's coming. It's coming. Everything's a building block. You've got to enjoy the journey, because the outcome, again, you don't even know what the outcome is because the goalposts move. Someone said to me,
not linear.
When I walked into that thing in Egypt, or someone said to me when I was selling tickets, that so you're doing full-time music at 29 years old, you'll be full-time music, and you're going to work with creatives every day who are sort of on your wavelength. You'd bit their arm off. You go, that's never going to happen. And then look.
Yeah.
So just go.
It's not linear.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You never know what's going to happen. But one thing I'd say to anyone starting out is just put in what you think is enough, because you can only be self to blame. If you don't put it in, you won't get it back. Same with anything. Yeah. And now I'm, like I said before, I might not have fully been putting all the effort in, but now it is completely focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's proving to myself that I've put enough in, because I can't walk away or leave any stone unturned. That would be my own fault, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, I think that's a nice way to end it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah. And how can people connect with you on Instagram?
So hit me up on Instagram, even if it isn't music related. Honestly, I'm here, and the Trackstack inbox is open for collective. So hit me up with your tunes, and let's see.
Open for tracks.
Open for tracks.
Love that.
Brilliant.
Good to have you on, man.
You too. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Cool. We made good time.